Hi everyone, so today we're going to be talking about note taking. This is the first in a series of about 3 mini lessons we're going to do, aimed at hopefully getting you guys to look like that guy on the screen when you're taking notes. Happy, joyous, confident. So you may ask me, isn't note taking really easy? The teacher just talks in front of the room and we come in and we listen, or perhaps for some of you pretend to listen to the teacher, and then the teacher tells us exactly what to put in these little blanks in our note sheet here, and then we're given the slides for free. It's easy money, right? Simple, easy, no worries. Well, our hope and my hope from these lessons and from what we teach you is to show you that it's not this easy. Our hope is to show you that you can, if you learn the skills, if you learn the ideas, the knowledge, get more out of your notes. Actually, when you come home, remember what you learned that day. Actually, when you come home, have notes that make it easy for you to access that information. And not just sort of breeze through the day filling in blanks. So the first and most obvious question is, what do we need to do to take good notes? And so what we're going to talk about in this lesson particularly is you need to notice key concepts and define key terms. And basically, these two things are summarized as knowing what the heck do I need to write down. In future lessons, we're going to talk about planning ahead in your notes, reviewing and reorganizing your notes after class. In future lessons, we're also going to talk about how the heck to write in a shorthand. I don't know what that is. In future lessons, we're going to talk about why you should mark your notes where you need further clarification. And we're going to talk about why is it important to summarize our notes and how do you do it. So to focus on this lesson, what makes a key concept or term? And the first and most obvious thing, I think, is that anything a teacher emphasizes that is graded or on the SOL or on a test is something you need to write down in your notes. And think of it this way. We quiz and test because we want to know what you know. And we want to know this because both the county and our own knowledge tells us that certain facts, certain ideas, certain concepts are critical for you to know. So that you can be a good citizen, so that you can be a good person, and so that you can thrive when you go to college and beyond. And so that's why knowing what teachers emphasize is on an SOL exam or graded is critical, because it's our way of saying we think this is important. Also, anytime a teacher uses cue terms, it's important to write down in your notes, such as first, second, third, compare, contrast, because. And these cue terms, what's important about them is that they signal to you that we're talking about a critical concept, a main idea, something that you need to write down. Because there are ways of describing a main idea. There are ways of describing features of a main idea, or describing how a main idea differs from another main idea. And so those cue terms tell you, know this. Finally, it's maybe a teacher secret, I don't know, but anytime a teacher repeats a concept, it's just our way of emphasizing you need to know this. It's our way of saying to you, this is important. And we don't want you to end like this confused guy on a test. Certainly not. And hopefully better note-taking skills will make you not be like this guy. Also, what makes a good key concept or term? Anything the textbook highlights in bold letters. Again, this is the author's way of the textbook in saying, know this, we think it's important. Also, any historical people and any major historical events. And why this makes a good key concept or term is that usually historical people or historical events are connected to many other aspects of history. And so by knowing the person, you know the connections, you know what they were involved with. By knowing the events, you know the connections, you know what those events contributed to. And so that's why these are critical things to write down. It's because they're so connected and interwoven in the rest of history. Critical people, critical events just had to do with a lot of other stuff. Finally, this is slightly complicated, but anything that defines how we view a particular culture or movement is important to write down. And so, for example, when you learn about Egypt, you leave that automatically associating Egypt with the pyramids. And some of you maybe even now associate Egypt with the pyramids. It's just the pyramids have so much to do with what Egypt is to the outside world that you just remember it. You remember Egypt and the pyramids after you've done studying on Egypt and the pyramids. It's a critical part of the concept of Egypt. Also, for any of you who have gone through sort of Protestant confirmation, you've learned perhaps about the Reformation. And once you learn about the Reformation, you realize how critical the concept of indulgences is for the Reformation. You almost, when you think of the Reformation, think of indulgences. And so that's why these things are important to write down and know. And we have a picture of the pyramids for those of you who maybe never been there and wanted to see it. Gasp! Finally, what else is a key term or concept? Well, we want you guys to know that it is every presenter's job, regardless of if it's in the professional world, in the college world, in the high school world, to clarify anything at all. Really anything at all. Even if it's the simple question of, I missed that, can you repeat it? Or, I don't understand that. Or, is this an important part for me to write down? It's our job to do that. And so you can always ask. And so, in conclusion of this lesson, what we want is to simply have you guys see the Google document on Blackboard and work on it and give us your answers. Have fun and have a great day. Bye.